Arsenal drop points again. Iliman Ndiaye's penalty rescues a draw for Everton as the Gunners stumble in the title race. With Liverpool pulling away at the top, have Arsenal's hopes of Premier League glory faded? Let's break it all down.
Mikel, you've had to settle for a point here. What did you make of your team's performance?
Well, especially with the result, very unhappy. Very tough place to come. A team that is very physical, very direct. If you don't deal with direct play constantly well, you never get any momentum. So it's very difficult. We went ahead to finally find more control and try to, from there, generate more chances and do that. But the start of the second half was very poor. So we give the ball away. We are just insecure what we do one with the other, and then the decision of the penalty comes, and it's for me never a penalty, but we take it from there.
Oh, give it! Yay! Louis! No! Oh my God! I thought that was Arsenal getting a penalty.
Yeah, confusion there, and that's what should happen, children. Make sure you're paying attention and not on your phone.
And understand that the team's turned round. Understand that part as well, yeah.
I didn't hear enough cheer. And so when I heard a cheer, all I heard was Miles Lewis-Skelly's name. So I thought, yes, we've got a penalty. But hey, that's the way it goes.
Oh, and I could hear it in my earpiece.
Did you hear me?
I was running down and just ran quicker to see, because I thought it was a goal the way you celebrated.
Yes.
But a draw's probably the right results, and we'll move on.
Yeah, do you think it's a fair reflection?
Probably especially on the chance. I don't think it was a great quality in the game. But I feel, on the chances, I think Leon's right in the both goals could have easily have been avoided. But there wasn't enough chances in there. But Jordan Pickford was magnificent today, made some fantastic saves today. Showed why he's England's number one. But I think we can't complain with getting a draw out of that.
They've managed only 1 point today, and Liverpool now only need 11 points to be crowned champions. Maximum of 11 points. Of course, Arsenal could still drop more. Liverpool on 73, Arsenal in second on 62, Nottingham Forest in third, and Chelsea in fourth. Manchester City just outside that top four, but only 1 point behind Chelsea. Bottom of the table is where Everton do find themselves. That single point taking them above Spurs into 14th. West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton make up the bottom of the table. Manchester United just 2 points ahead of Everton now, having played a game less. In midweek, but for Arsenal, it means more drop points, and it gives Liverpool an opportunity to stretch that lead when they take on Fulham tomorrow. They could be 14 points ahead of the Gunners come the end of this weekend. What did you make of his reaction to the result?
Yeah, I agreed with quite a lot of what he said. I thought it was great to have him back. I think when you see some of his moments on the ball, he is definitely what Everton have been lacking in his absence. Someone that can drop a shoulder, that can excite the crowd, that scares the opposition. So, yeah, he's gonna get better in the next few weeks as he gets fitter. But great to have him back. Great to have him taking the penalty kick. And I think it was right. We were talking. Everton were way off the pace in the first half. And if you're 1-0 down to a team like Arsenal at half time, getting a point out of that is going to be a good result. So, yeah, didn't play as well. Could have done better, but you'll walk away happy with that point in the end.
Yeah, and as he reminded us, was his first start since February. He has been out injured. Let's look at the incident that led to the penalty. It came very soon after the break. I know you two are divided here. So who wants to start?
There's so much, when you look at, I think obviously there's some contact there. I don't know where that contact came from to get up. Maybe that's why he's actually got up, but I think Kiwior's got to do a lot more. He's got to come back and take control of that header and get it out of the danger area. But it's just when you look here, you just think I don't know what Lewis Skelly. Obviously, he's holding him. We can see that. But you're saying something to do with there, or I don't think that's enough. Of course, I'm going to say that as well. You know what I mean?
There's a definite tussle, isn't there? And
there. I'm trying to think where it is.
I just think, look, from the referee's angle, there's enough for that to be a foul. It's a foul outside the box. It's going into the penalty area. It's going to be a foul. I certainly didn't think there was enough to say that there wasn't contact or anything like that. Couldn't have been overruled. So it's good to see after the last two penalty kicks Everton have got at Goodison Park have both been overturned on VAR. So it was glad. I'm sure the fans in the stadium were a bit nervous going into that third one, but from an Everton point of view, glad that it stood. Although, yeah, it was I can't pretend it wasn't a soft penalty or an easy penalty in the modern day game. It was.
It's one of those. If they're saying the same thing, we've seen penalties like that given. We can say that, but like, if we're going to be this, we're going to be this stringent on giving stuff like this, then we've got to be like that on everything. That's what
we were talking. We were talking at half time, weren't we, about strikers going down. We saw Trossard, and not in a bad way, just in the sense of you have to earn your penalty kicks. There's no point in staying up, make the referee make a decision, and he did there.
Yeah, so VAR deemed the contact to have been sufficient inside the penalty area. The reason why I was laughing is because you said we were talking about strikers going down easily, and Wright had actually said that Trossard was going, was hurdling when perhaps he should have.
It's one of those, but again, you see, when you look at Lewis Skelly's one there and the way that he went down, you know as a player now, if you're playing, you go down, they're going to have a look. And what we've seen at the standard of they could give that, and we saw that there, could give that. Just like the start of the game, that tackle on Wanyeri, you're thinking to yourself, that's a red card. Now, I don't see them saying about, the danger in that challenge. I don't see anything like that. When you look at this challenge, you're thinking to yourself, they can look at that penalty and say all that rules with the fancy words and stuff. But look at this challenge. Over the ball, endangering an opponent. And so what are they going to say about that not being a red card? It's just it's pathetic, the inconsistency.
Leon?
Yeah, I can see his frustration. I didn't think it was quite a red card. I'm surprised it wasn't a yellow card. I will say that. I was surprised it wasn't a yellow card.
Do you think he endangered him with the way he went in?
It was definitely aggressive. He missed the ball. A couple of minutes into the game of your first start for 2 years, nearly enough for Patterson. Maybe the referee gave him the benefit of the doubt in that one. That doesn't help Wanyeri in a situation when he's out of probably a yellow card. But yeah, it was frustration for both sets of players today. They tried, they weren't good enough to unlock the opposition. Defences were on top, and when they weren't, it was poor at the top end of the field. Neither team could find the right pass. They were sloppy at times, giving goals away. So, yeah, a level of frustration all round.
So we showed you the incident, Miles Lewis-Skelly versus Harrison. That led to the penalty. Let's show you the actual spot kick now from Iliman Ndiaye. And he sent Raya the wrong way.
Yeah, really good penalty. I can't pretend I wasn't a little bit nervous as he was standing over it, but he's been quite assured. He's putting them in corners, sending keepers the wrong way. He goes early, Raya, doesn't he?
Yeah, when you look, I saw something the other day with David Wright on the penalties, and he seems to be taking this massive leap to one side, which is almost like giving the penalty taker, if we saw it, it's giving the penalty taker so much time to say, well, he's definitely going that way. I've seen him penalties being taken against him recently, where he's continually going the wrong way, and I think that he's I don't know, his form in trying to save him, I think it's wrong, simply because he's going so far, he's making such a commitment to that side.
He's giving himself a really good chance of saving it that side, but he's given up the centre.
He's giving it up because, like, when especially if you've got a longer run up, you can actually see him when you're like a yard off away from the ball before you watch him. Look, he's gone. It's like. Ndiaye, he's like, look, he's gone.
Outside the goal frame, doesn't
he's
he?
actually not kicked the ball yet, and David Raya has taken 2 steps to his right. That's going to give you. You're going to see that when you're running up. You can see he's committed to that side, and that's the only thing I look at and worries me with the penalties being taken against us at the minute.
Now we have a little clip here because you were confused when the penalty was awarded. You seem to think it was the yeah and the no. Yeah. So reaction from Ian Wright then. Let's hear reaction from Leandro Trossard, who scored Arsenal's goal. Here he is.
Leandro, how do you see the point you've taken here today?
I think it's a tough one because I think in general we played well, but it's just how we started the second half wasn't good enough, how we conceded that penalty, and then it's a really tough place to come and to score that first goal and go in front is good, but then you have to put the game to bed, and that's what we lacked today.
It looked like a really physical battle out there. How did you find it?
Yeah, for sure. I think always when you come to this place, it's a physical battle. It's their strength as well, and I felt like the second half we played too much into their game instead of playing ours, and I think that's what we lacked.
You took your goal well, though. It must feel good to get back on the score sheet, and you had an opportunity to get a second in the second half. Was that the frustration that you just couldn't find that second goal?
Yeah, it's always nice to be on the score sheet, of course. Unlucky we didn't win, but in the second half I tried to create more and try to get a second to get the team even to get that breather. But it's a tough place to come, and I think we can learn from that as well. We have a big game in a couple of days, so we need to focus on that now.
Yeah, I was going to say, how quickly do your minds turn to Real Madrid on Tuesday?
Yeah, we have to review this one, and then all the focus is on the next game, and that's a great game for us. Everyone is really excited for that one, so we're up for it.
Here today, though, it does make it an 11th draw in the Premier League this season. Is that ultimately what's cost you in the title race this season? Just too many draws?
Yeah, of course. If you don't win enough games, you're not there, and we lacked that this season. Obviously, we all know the history of what we've had with injuries as well, but we don't want to have too many excuses. And that's how it is. Now we have to focus on the game on Tuesday, and we go full gas there.
Thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a great point there. Just looking at the last 6 Premier League results and their 3 draws in it, 11 overall. Is that really what's cost them?
Yeah, I think so. And of those 11 draws, they've led in 6 of those games. That's 12 points that they've let slip away, which, if you talk about the difference in the title race, is an awful lot. The teams that are going for the title don't lose from winning positions. There's just a real assurance that once we get that goal ahead, the 3 points are pretty much sorted. And I felt that's the way Arsenal sort of felt going ahead. And then at half time, you thought that's it. The way Ian thought it was just like the hard part is getting ahead in the games against away. You can't let points slip through your fingers. You know, I remember, so I think there was a Brighton game earlier in the season. There's been quite a few. And yeah, that's ultimately been the difference.
Yeah, so Arsenal 11 points behind Liverpool, who play tomorrow, could be 14 by the end of the weekend. Is that it for you? Title gone?
You know, as a fan, and you can't. While it's not mathematically impossible, you just have to keep hanging in. But you can't really sit here and feel like Arsenal, especially when you saw today the lack of quality in the final third, especially in the first half. You can't really sit here and honestly believe that you're going to be able to catch Liverpool in the current climate. I could totally imagine if you were scoring goals and you're winning games and you're closer, but we're not close enough without the quality in the final third at the moment. So you know, it's a tough one. It's tough, and it's very hard for me to say we're out of it. But like, you know, it's maybe a bridge too far.
Yeah, I mean, you think about when teams have come back from the deficits that also don't have the momentum at the moment. You think about Manchester City when they've come back and overturned deficits. They've had the momentum. They're getting better. You know, it's assured that they're going to win their games. Everyone else best be at it and not lose as well. Well, you just don't get that feeling about any of the chasing pack. And so Liverpool have got themselves into a wonderful position.
Yeah, it leaves Arsenal's only hope with the Champions League. That means Tuesday is a huge game.
Yeah, it is. And everybody's known. I think that they'll be a little bit relieved of this game. It would have been nice even if they could have taken this game maybe 1-0, then you get on the coach now and you just relax and get ready for arguably the biggest game in some of those guys' careers. So, you know, it's something that it means so much to the club to try and win this game, but we know how tough this is going to be.
Kick off during the game and even afterwards, they're delighted. Obviously the performance and the results have been good as well, which obviously helps it. But yeah, the last few games at Goodison are going to be enjoyed, and today was one of those days.
Martin, how do you think Mikel Arteta will feel about that point today? Will he be too bothered?
Do you know, I think he'd be disappointed at the start of the second half, the way that he allowed Everton back into the game. You can say it was a soft penalty, that's what they'll argue, but he would have expected to have won this game today, particularly when those two were coming on at half-time. We saw glimpses of Martinelli and again some good minutes, but, you know, Saka's had 73 minutes in 2 matches, no start now for a number of months. So it was about managing minutes. That's what it became. And it's a shame that they kind of find themselves in that situation. Of course, they would have wanted to still go after the title. But all in all, I think it was honours were even between the two teams. I think it was just about a fair result, really.
Their 11th draw this season, Martin. Only Everton have actually got more than them in the Premier League. Is that the real difference between them?
That's been the difference, yeah. I mean, there's games they were winning last year. You know, if you remember, they went on that incredible run, last 16 games, won 14, lost 1 and drawn 1. They weren't, you know, there was not many draws in there. This year, too many draws. And of course, hamstrung with, you know, injuries, players are out, in the final third, and I think that's really affected them. And they're looking at now that it's not the priority today, really. They're looking at other games, another competition, a huge competition, of course, and it's about preservation, really. And that's because the squad has got that bug of injuries, and they've had to make sure they just negotiate today's game. Credit to Everton, they come back way much better. Moyes it's a totally different Everton right now. 1 defeat in 11. Coming here now is now an okay result. Okay, Liverpool came here and won, and Arsenal needed to match that and weren't able to do so.
Can we just put that down to the injuries, Phil? Because they were leading in 7 of those 11 games that they've gone on to draw. Is that something that really has to be addressed?
Well, it is a valid excuse, if you like, but it's tough. A lot of people are pointing out that they didn't go and buy another striker, another number 9. But again, it's if everyone had obviously a clear ball to go and look what was going to happen, I'm sure they'd have signed someone. But it's tough. Liverpool have been fantastic as well. It's hard to go season after season after season to win, as Martin said, 14 of the last 16 games last season. That's not always as easy to do. So Arsenal will be frustrated, but they're going in the right direction. They're obviously in a Champions League game this next week. They're probably going to finish second in the league. It's nearly where they want to be. So I suppose there's positives there, but I'm sure if you're an Arsenal fan, you're just desperate to try and win that Premier League. It's been too long.
Let's have a look at the way Arsenal scored in that first half. Phil, just talk us through what went wrong from an Everton point of view in this.
If you have a question, raise your hand. I think we've got Mike in here as well. So we'll kick off with Tom from Football London.
Hi, Mikel. Point apiece. Is that a fair reflection of the performance?
I think we deserve more, but that's what we got at the end. A really tough place to come. What they do it really well. Constantly putting the balls, snowballs into the last line, dealing with direct play and second actions. I think we haven't conceded anything in the game, which was really positive. We were 1-0 up, have some big opportunities. Running into spaces, we didn't finalize the action. Second half, we started, okay, let's start good, start to dominate the game. They're going to be more aggressive, we'll have more spaces. We did the opposite, we give the ball straight to the keeper, direct play, trouble, again, direct play, and the referee decides to give a penalty that changes the course of the game, which I'm here to give my opinion. And because if there is, then O'Brien has to be out and Everton has to play with 10 men. That's clear. And after that, again, dominated the game, really not get too much momentum because he's constantly breaking the play, and a big part of that was down to us because after direct play we get very cheap free kicks away, but we had 2 big chances to win the game, we didn't convert them, so we have to accept the point.
I feel like we've spoken a lot after games where refereeing decisions have come up this season, and obviously the gap between yourselves and Liverpool is quite significant. Do you feel as though that has played into maybe why the gap is so large this season?
Merit to Liverpool, the way they are winning their football matches. I'm talking a reflection of what happened today, what was really relevant for the score, and there's no question that apart from that they had nothing, but obviously that changes completely the momentum and the results.
Hi Mikel, it's been a few times now with Miles Lewis-Skelly in certain situations in defensive scenarios where there's been controversy. Do you think in some ways he's been targeted by referees because he's been involved in these situations in the past?
No, I don't think that any referee targets a player.
Sam,
hello, Mikel.
Hi.
Just in the team you picked, obviously a lot of first teamers or left out, and they came on at the end. Presumably that's all with Real Madrid in mind, is it?
Well, there were 4 players that could not start the game after what happened with Fulham, and obviously the injury of Gavi, so that forces you as well to make some changes, and as well because players deserve to play minutes. So I'm very happy with that. I mean, everybody has to be important, has to feel important. I have so many games coming up right now, and I will have to rely on all of them.
So those players weren't. It wasn't a case of thinking, well, we've got a massive game on Tuesday.
With others might be, but not for what was happening on Tuesday, but because some of them they haven't trained, they haven't had the opportunity to start the game.
Just with Bukayo, he's obviously had 2 games off the bench now. Do you feel like he's in a position that he could start on Tuesday?
Well, he's in a much better place. Obviously, we have built that up. He played 30 minutes. Today he's played 49, a little bit less because we whistled before we end of the game, and after that he will be in a much better place.
Can I just ask you one? Obviously, you got that big decision about who plays that left centre back without Gabriel. How did you feel Xhaka did today, and also is Ben moving back to centre back something you're thinking about with those games against Real Madrid?
Yeah, we have alternatives there today. Obviously, we had players that they haven't played together, so that cohesion hasn't been there. Ben especially hasn't played at all almost this season. So good that they have the minutes, they have that understanding, and we will assess what's the best options for that back line.
A couple of here. Jordan Athletic. I'll just check how Mikel Arteta is feeling after the game for the head knock.
He's fine. I just checked with the doctor. I think he had a cut, so he was bleeding quite a lot in the first half. Then I started again, so but overall he wasn't feeling anything. So good.
No other any injuries?
No.
Hi. Obviously, sentiment doesn't play any part for you. You're here to do a job, but you're a very much looked for Everton player coming back to Goodison Park for the last time, just after the reports on the street. You say how difficult it is to come in Goodison Park as an arena.
Well, I mean, I think the Premier League has got a reputation all over the world for places like Goodison Park. I think that makes unique the Premier League, so it's going to be very strange. I understand this evolution of football, of a football club, but this is very much part of the history of this league, and when you looks like he said, go to Goodison Park and experience it, and unfortunately in a few months we're not going to have that again.
Mikel, Everton's gone now. How much excitement, how much anticipation is there among your players now, even on the journey home, about Tuesday night?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most beautiful games that you can play in football, in the highest European competition against the team that has dominated that competition in the last 20-25 years. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
And do you just rest now? Is that all you can do?
Oh, we have to train and prepare a few things, but tomorrow we'll have some time to rest and start preparing really well the game, because we're looking forward to that game. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pete, we'll start with you.
David, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Are you well?
Yes, thank you.
A point against a team in Premier League and Champions League contention. How satisfied have you got to be with that?
Really satisfied. We didn't start well, but we showed a little bit more in the second half, which got us back in the game. But no, it's been a difficult week. Team at the top of the Premier League, team who's second in the league, and I think we've given them both decent games.
What did you learn about your players in those two games?
Well, probably I'm beginning to understand them a lot more. I think they've got great resilience, the players here. You know, they stick at it. They're very committed. No, we were all disappointed and angry with each other at half time because we started slowly, sluggishly, and made mistakes which we didn't think we would do. So we sort of tried to sort that out. Tactically, we just made a slight change in how we were going to try and press Arsenal, because we'd found it a struggle in the first half to get the ball off them at times. But we got a bit better in the second half, and great credit, we were able to get a point out of it.
35 points. Job nearly done?
Nearly done. I'm saying there. Obviously, mathematically, we're not safe yet, but I'm hoping to take a visit to the stadium this week, which would indicate that I think that we're pretty close. So I want us to keep getting ready now for Premier League football, and I know I've got a bit to do, and I hope I'm not speaking too soon.
Are you old school and want to get?
Oh, there's 70 points if I could, to be honest. But at the moment, I think when I came in a few months ago, I think if you'd given me 40 points, I'd have taken you out for a drink.
Shimeen?
Hi, David. Mikel's come in and said he's watched it 15 times and it's not a penalty. What did you make of it?
Well, I've watched it 0 times, and I couldn't tell you if it's a penalty or not because I've not seen it back yet.
So, but it just showed Illiman's class that he was able to tuck it away, and the general performance was excellent as well.
We've missed him. we've missed them, which we have, but we've missed other people as well, and we're just beginning to get players back. And thankfully we weren't getting them back now when we were needing loads of points and everybody was feeling under pressure. The players who've come in, whoever's played, has done a great job in getting us the points. So got to think that we've not had Dwight, we've not had Ellie since the Liverpool game here at home. Dominic and and Broja as well. So they're just beginning to come back into the scene, which helps us a lot. It gave me a chance today to change it, to try and have a look at Tim as well after the game in midweek. And we had a injury to Mikel, so Pat will get a chance to play as well. So we were always thinking about making a couple of changes, but some of them were a bit enforced anyway.
I was about to ask about the changes, David. Was that also to do with the amount of work they had to do against Liverpool at Anfield the other night?
If you look at it, probably off the ball, we've had 2 games where we've had to be. We're not going to have all the possession, that's for sure, and we're probably having to work really hard off it. I thought Duke's done an amazing job in the work he'd done, especially at the start of the second half, him and Beto, and they needed to, because we hadn't done it particularly well in the first half. But I thought the second half we got about them much better and gave ourselves a chance.
And Carlos Alcaraz comes out to the side today. I just wonder what he has to do to earn the new contract in your eyes.
We'll see. We'll talk about contracts at another date, not today, but we just thought we had an opportunity to try and change things about, and we thought the best people for the job up at the top end was Dukes and Beto, and I thought Dukes proved that was the right choice.
Joe. Dwight McNeil made a late cameo as well. How pleased are you to have him back, and much hope he can offer?
I mean, it's a bit like we've not been able to get any of the boys to games and under 21s and that at the moment, because we feel as if we want to get them closer to the first team as quick as we can, and we've done that a bit with Tim when he was on the way back, and we're doing it the same with Ellie as well, who we were not quite sure if we'd start him today, but in the end we felt that we might as well do so to get him back in it. But he pulled up, Pato having near enough his first games, pulling up with cramp in the second half as well. So all those boys are just on their way back, and Ellie's a bit the same. And who was the other one you asked me about? Sorry, did you ask me about that?
It was McNeil.
Sorry?
McNeil that I asked about. It was McNeil that I asked about, sorry.
No, that was the only other one. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, no,
that was the only one, sorry, I thought that was the one, yeah.
Final one. Hi David, you talked about a tough week playing the teams first and second in the league. Your next 3 games against the team 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
You've done quite well against the top 6 so far this season. How much confidence can you take from this last week going into those tough games?
Well, you probably said it in my programme notes. I've actually looked forward to the games to see how we're going to compete. I didn't really like the first half, a lot of the stuff we've done, but I thought generally the 2 games we've tried to show we're resilience, we could stick at it. We've made chances in both games, which before I came in here was probably one of the big things that we said, how are you going to score any goals, or how are you going to create any chances? Even today when we didn't play particularly well in the first half, I thought we made 1 or 2 opportunities. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the games, because I think that I'm having to find out about all the players and see what they can do.
Thanks.
Okay, Boggs, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Leandro Trossard put Arsenal in front in the first half, finishing off a rapid counter-attack with a cool left-footed strike. But Everton fought back after the break. Miles Lewis-Skelly's foul on Jack Harrison gifted him a penalty, and Ndiaye made no mistake from the spot, his 7th goal of the season and the most by any Everton player this campaign. Despite late chances from Gabriel Martinelli and Mikel Merino, Arsenal couldn't find a winner. They now sit 11 points behind Liverpool, who could stretch that gap to 14. Meanwhile, Everton climb to 14th place and continue their strong run under David Moyes. Blue circle Everton's resilient comeback. It was a game of 2 halves for Everton. A sluggish first 45 saw them struggle with Arsenal's press, and they were lucky not to be further behind at the break. But Moyes' team talk worked wonders. Jack Harrison's determination won the penalty, and Ndiaye showed nerves of steel to level the score. Everton never looked like snatching a winner, but they held firm defensively, with Nathan Patterson keeping Bukayo Saka quiet after his introduction. With Nottingham Forest, Man City, and Chelsea up next, this battling point could prove crucial in their survival fight. Red Circle Arsenal's title hopes fading. Mikel Arteta rotated his squad with one eye on the Champions League clash against Real Madrid. Martin Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli all started on the bench. For 45 minutes, it looked like a smart decision. Arsenal were in control, and Trossard was leading the line brilliantly. But one mistake changed the game. Lewis Skelly's misjudged challenge on Harrison gave Everton the chance they needed. From there, Arsenal ran out of ideas. The introduction of their star players didn't provide the spark needed, and Everton defended well to see out the draw. With Liverpool running away at the top, Arsenal may now have to focus on their Champions League campaign if they want silverware this season. Everton show their fighting spirit, while Arsenal drop more points at the worst possible time. Is their title race over? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to SportLab for more football reactions. See you in the next one.